G'day, mate. How are you?
Hey, mate. How's things?
Yeah, good. My week, not too bad, mate. Just, getting back into the swing of normal work without footy to watch, I guess. Been a bit wet down here in Sydney. A bit shitty weather. I think it follows on from the Origin last night. That was a shitty performance, followed by some shitty weather. Congratulations to
some people, but it was a great game. Well, from a Queensland point of view, anyway. So we'll be talking about that a bit later.
Yeah, we will.
There's been a lot of storms up here in Brisbane as well. So there's another one this afternoon. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Last week was the first weekend without any footy, wasn't it? So
yeah.
So it's kind of like you had a bit of a loose end, aren't you? So
yeah, mate. But right. We will talk about last night's State of Origin a bit later on. We'll discuss some Warriors news. The Warriors had their awards last night, so we'll go through the awards. Hey to TK who's tuned in from New Zealand, and thank you, my brother, for sending me through all the updates last night for the Warriors awards night. We here in Australia couldn't get any vision of that, so TK was sending it through all night for me. So yeah, but I'm excited, mate. Tonight we've got a real live Warrior, a current real live Warrior. Tonight's a very special guest. Yeah, let's bring him in. We're very excited to be joined by current Vodafone Warriors lock, fan favourite, Warrior number 209, Jazz Tevaga. Jazz, welcome.
What's up,
Thanks
bro?
for being here, bro.
All good, brothers.
We'll get started. We'll dive straight in. Can you tell us where you grew up and who you played your junior footy with?
So I was born in Christchurch. I first started playing footy at Burnham Chevaliers, small army town in Christchurch with the Nicarima boys, Cody and Jaden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Our dads were in the army and our mums grew up sort of together, knowing each other, and I was close with them. And then I moved to Papakura because Dad was posted. He's in the army and he got posted up there. So from about 9 years old, I was in Papakura, and I grew up, spent most of my life there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the military, because a little birdie has asked me to ask you about what it was like growing up as an army kid, and apparently tell us about your old man. Apparently he was a bit of a tough bugger.
My old man's I don't know, I guess he's old school kind of. He's pretty tough on me, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I love the way he's raised me, and my dad's a good role model for myself. It's all good. He is sometimes he is a bit of a cunt, but
for those of you watching, we told Jazz he could swear if he wanted to, so he's getting in early.
I don't know what else to call him. No, but sometimes, sometimes he can be a bit annoying, but he keeps me on my toes.
Fair enough. Yeah, so you were signed by the Warriors in 2014, and you played Holden Cup in that season. You went on to win the premiership that year against the Broncos, playing against the Nicarima brothers there. Tell us about that game and what was the feelings about winning the premiership in your first season in Holden Cup.
Yeah, that was a crazy year because we're inconsistent as we lost a few games. We had a poor start to the season, and we just scraped in the 8. I think all we had to do was draw with Penrith. That was the last round before final series, and we were down by 6 points. It was 18-12, and there was 2 minutes left. And I remember they passed it. Mason set up a try in the corner, and our winger Ngātawa Hokutai at the time, he scored in the corner. And so Mason, to draw it up, he had to get the kick from the sideline, and the whole crowd was just booing him, giving him all the shit. And if you've been to Pepper Stadium, is it Pepper Stadium, the Panther Stadium?
Yeah. Yep.
The crowd's real close to the field, if you're down at the bottom. So they're only meters away from him, just abusing him, and he slots the kick from the sideline. We draw, and we sneak into the final series. So it was crazy.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a crazy kick. He took it really far back, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won we had to win every game, and obviously we did. And then there was another crazy game, the semi to go into the grand final. Tui scored right on the hooter.
Yeah, that's right.
And that sent us here to the GF. And then the GF was crazy because we were up 34-6, I think it was.
34-6.
Yeah, well, that's what we were up. And they
I
come
was
back.
there.
They come back, and we just won. And I think it was Jaden's birthday, and he had the chance to tie up the game just before full time. He had the goal kick from the sideline too, and he shanked it. And I'll never let them live that day. I always got one over those boys. So no,
That was hot too. Remember, it was about 32 degrees that day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was
stinking
hot. I remember.
Along the sideline, there was like a pitch of shade. So every time we would all go to the pitch, and it was hot.
Yeah. I think because I was at that game. I remember. I think it was Solo Carter scored 3 tries in that grand final, but didn't one of the Nicarima boys score 3 tries as well for the Broncos that day? I think as well.
Must have been Cody. Cody and his brother, when Jaden came on, they scored he set up a try.
Yeah.
And it just went all downhill from there for us.
Yeah, but you got the trophy, bro. That's all that matters.
Exactly.
What do you guys get for the grand in Holden Cup? Did you get rings, or was it a medallion, or?
No, we get medals. So we got a medal.
Okay. Cool. In 2015, you played most of your footy, like both Holden Cup and New South Wales Cup, and then in round 3 of 2016, you made your debut against the Melbourne Storm. How nervous were you making your debut, and do you remember much about the game?
Yeah. So that was a funny story because I just finished captain's run with the New South Wales Cup team, and I remember I was getting a few balls to do some passing extras or whatever, and one of the managers come driving up on the cart, and he said that I needed to go train with the NRL, and I was like sort of pissed off because no one wants to do too much before a game. And I didn't want to do double back-to-back sessions. So I was kind of like, I was annoyed. And then he said, Cappy wants to see you before you take the field. And I was like, oh, sweet. I ran over to Cappy, and then he was like, hey, Jazz, how you going? And I was like, yeah, good. And then he goes, you're going to start tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just thinking he was talking about cup. And he goes, no, you dumb cunt. He's like, I wouldn't go all the way over here to tell you you're starting cup tomorrow. You're going to start for us. And I was like, fuck off. Serious? And he was like, yeah, you're going to start for us. Bully strained his calf. And I was like, fuck. What the fuck? And I remember I was so nervous because all the boys were waiting for me in a huddle. And I ran over and they all started cheering. And bro, I was shaking. Like my passes were so rank. Like I'm not that good at passing. Well, I'm all right now, but back then I wasn't that good. Fucking, I was just giving the boys like the meanest fucking rainbow riders. Like they'll go straight to the ankles and shit. And I was, and Hoffy just sat me down and was like, "Bro, just take a breath. Like you're gonna be all right. It's all good." And I was like, "Okay." And then that night, I couldn't sleep, bro. I was fucking up till like 3 or 4 in the morning. My mum made me a big breakfast, and then I couldn't eat. I only had like an egg on toast, and I was just in bed sweating like, fuck. Just Bromwich is gonna bump me off. But when I warmed up, it was like a packed house at Mount Smart, and bro, I was just, the energy was mean, and I was just keen as the rip in. And then when we kicked off, like I could see Cam Smith standing across from me, and I was like, fuck, I made it.
Yeah. You played 11 games in your debut season, and you ended up scoring a try in the last game of season against Souths. What was it like scoring your first meat pie in the NRL?
It was mean because when I looked up, GI was like on my legs, like he tried to tackle me. Just happy as, and then I threw up the ball, and I looked at the scoreboard, and it was like 46-12 or something. So I was like, fuck. And when I went back in, Justin Morgan sort of gave me a spray for celebrating. He's like, Jazz, I know it's your first try, but mate, when you're down 46 points, don't celebrate.
Oh, really?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, while we're talking about your tries, you did end up scoring a couple of important tries. I remember you scored a match winner against Parramatta in 2018, and you scored an even more important match winner last year against Manly. So while we're talking about your tries,
Yeah, I don't score too much tries. My family always telling me they'll message me before a game. Mate, I put $50 on you to score. Make sure you score, bro. I never score. I got a bad strike rate.
I know, mate, because I put you in my anytime try scorer multis pretty much every week, just hoping because you're always paying about $9.50, $10.
Yeah.
So if you get up, it's going to be a good get for me. But yeah, it doesn't happen often. I know. But I got your back, bro. I'm with you. In 2017, you played only 4 games of first grade that season. But in 2018, you really cemented the spot in the regular first grade roster, playing 20 games that season, which was a real breakout year for you. And it was the Warriors' best season since 2011. First time we made the semis for 7 years.
Yeah.
What was it like to be an integral part of the club's success during that season, during that year?
Yeah, that season was really that was a really good season for myself and not only myself, for the club. Like you said, we made finals for the first time, and I just feel like we did good that year. But if we had kept the same team for one more year, like fuck, I reckon we could have done it. But there's a lot of what ifs. But yeah, I just think fuck, if we kept that same team for one more year, like we could have done some mean damage. Because I think we started off 5-0, and I was like, fuck, this is mean. Like,
that's right.
And the games, like the games turning up to Mount Smart, it was packed. Like you couldn't even see a seat spare. It was just so packed, and it was so mean playing at home. And when we would win, fuck, it was like there was a mean buzz in Auckland, New Zealand. And
Yeah.
Because I was at the game where you played. I think it was round 3 against Canberra, and Shawnee kicked 2 field goals to ice that game.
Yeah.
And then the next week we played the Roosters. We pumped the Roosters and Shawnee didn't play. Mason played that game.
Yeah, Mason
at halfback. Yeah. But I can remember being, because whenever we go to a Warriors game here in Australia, they always put a section aside for us as the away supporters section, and it's always in a corner of the stadium. It's always in a shit location. And I remember being at the Canberra game, and there was probably about 10 of us in that away section. But the next week we went to the Roosters game, and we sold out 3 bays on one side of the field. It was.
I couldn't hear any Roosters. I remember that game because everyone was cheering and they were singing.
Yeah.
Songs. Like I was like, this is the year.
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yeah. I was just going to ask about so obviously we touched on the fact that we hadn't made finals in a long time until 2018. So we waited probably like 7 years. And you qualified for the semi-finals. What is your memory of the actual finals game itself against Penrith?
Yeah, I remember we started off really well. I think we got up 2 tries. When I come on, they just scored a late first half try, I think. And then I remember we lost Roger. And when we lost Roger, like the boys got rattled there. And
you could see it.
Just like error after error. And then we just keep giving them the ball back. And then they just, got a mean roll on in the second half. And yeah, I don't know. It was weird because we weren't never nervous, like going into a game. I was never nervous. But that game, like I could tell a few of us were really nervous. Obviously because of the occasion and that. But yeah, it was a tough one, especially because it was Juju's last game.
Yeah.
I keep looking at him in the huddle when they would score, and I was just like, fuck, one more game for you, bro.
Yeah. I was at that game too. It was it was a weird game. But yeah, once we lost Roger, it just, you could feel or you could sense that the shoulders drop kind of thing, the heads drop.
Yeah, you could almost physically see it. Yeah.
Yeah. That semi-final against Penrith also doubled as the season opener for the women's NRL competition. Did you guys have much interaction with the women's team during that time? Did you travel together, have accommodations together, anything like that?
No, so we didn't do too much. That's one thing I'm keen to touch on is that I think we should do a lot more stuff with the women team and even the younger teams because I don't think we do enough with them, especially our women. They made this sort of same sacrifices as us this year. I know it was only for a short period of time, but some of them had to leave jobs and that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's something that we need to do more of. as a club to build, that culture and that.
Yeah, we had a couple of the women on. We had Georgia on a couple of weeks ago, and Hilda and Madison came on and spoke to us and that. And you're right, they did sacrifice. They sacrificed too. They had to give up jobs because they're not full-time footballers.
Yeah.
The thing that probably, as a fan of not just the Warriors, but of rugby league as well, the thing that probably gets me about the women's game, and it's got nothing to do with you guys, is that they don't really get a sense of. I reckon if the NRL had it where like the Warriors women play before the Warriors men, and they have a couple more rounds rather than just at that semi-final, they can experience that home crowd experience that you guys get at Mount Smart, playing before you guys get a bit of a following. Because at the moment, they don't get a massive crowd out there playing before. So, and this year was weird because of COVID. That have one game at 12:30, one at 4, one at 8 o'clock. So, I was buying tickets to like effectively a Canberra Penrith game, but I was going there at 12:30 to watch the Warriors women play, and then I'd go home. I wouldn't hang around for 7 hours to watch two teams I give jack shit about. Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree, bro. And I reckon it's like I wish their season was a little bit longer, and they could experience, like their curtain raiser kind of games.
Yeah.
Because I remember when we were playing 20s and cup, when we went curtain race for NRL, we'd get like a solid crowd, and it was mean.
Yep.
Because they're coming in just ready to watch them. And then our second half, we'll be like almost playing an NRL game, like with the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, you were awarded for a really good 2018 season by being named the Dally M Interchange Player of the Year, which I think was the first time that they actually had that award. And can you tell us a bit about what went on that night at the Dally M's?
Sure, that was like the first time Mox let my hair down, like have it, because when Mox first come in, that's the reason I didn't play much in 2017. So when he first come in, I was a loose cunt. I was going to town and getting into fights and that. And when Mox come, I'd been done for drink driving, and I had what did I do? I went and played in a Maltese competition, but you're not allowed to play for any other team unless you ask.
Yeah.
So when he come, I had like this history of fighting, and then got done drink driving, and he said, you're on your last chance. If you fuck up, you're out. So I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't drink that whole year, and it took me a whole year to get into Mox's good books. Like he was just like so like, nah, this guy's a rat bag. Like anyway, so I finally earned, and I played the last 4 games of 2017, and then heading to 2018, like I was, in Mox's good books, and he was like, pleased with how hard I've been working in that. And that night he was actually he said, oh yeah, you can have a drink, you deserve it. And I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So we got blind, me, Rog, Bully, and then all I hear is my name called up. And I thought I was nominated, because I knew I was nominated for Dally M. So I thought they were just reading out the nominees. And then I turned around and I was like, do I go up or she didn't?
You look lost.
Bro, Bully was like, no, go. And then I went to go, and he's like, no, sit down. And I was like, go up. And then she said, come up. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I went up and got my award. And then, when Roger got Dally M, because Bully had already previously, gave us a nod, it was like, oh, if Roger gets it with the haka, I was like, sweet. And he tipped up a few of the other key boys. There's Jordan Rapana, Isan Masters, but we're all like scattered. Yeah. So Bully were and then Raps was like to our right, and Isan was way at the back. But it was mean because we just got up and so took with the bro, Rog, for getting the day.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that. Was that something that Bully had planned, or was it just a spur of the moment thing? But it was probably one of the best 4-man hakas I've ever seen. It was. The room was in awe, and it's something that they use in video footage all the time when they're promoting the Dally M now, is that footage of you boys, particularly you and Bully at the front there, giving that haka for Roger. It's,
it was very special because, we all know how good Roger is in that, but it was just special because, he's the Kiwi, and I think only one other Kiwi had got it was Jason.
Gary Freeman.
Oh, Gary Freeman, Jason, and then Rog. So, it's a very rare occasion for our nation to receive that award. So, it was special.
Yes, 2019, you continued to be one of the mainstays of the first grade team. But unfortunately, the success of 2018 wasn't quite backed up in 2019. So what do you think was the main contributor to that?
Oh, yeah, like I said, bro, I just wish we kept that same 2018 team. Shawnee was a massive loss, and we were looking at guys who hadn't had any NRL experience to fill their void, and so a lot of weight fell on Greeny, and I just don't think like he could take on that much. I'm not saying it's all his fault, but I felt like right from the start of the season when we lost Sean, it was like deflating. We're like, like we're in trouble. And yeah, we had a mixed bag of. I think the middle block of the season, we finally found our gear, and then when we lost that Parramatta game, we were just like deflated again, and then we got smoked by the Raiders. We beat Manly, and then like we lost our last 3 or 4 games. Sharks, Roosters.
Yeah.
We then beat the Raiders. So it was kind of a mixed season, but yeah, I wish we kept that same team for one more year.
Yeah, I don't expect you to answer this, but I'm going to just say it anyway. I just think when Sean left, it was a massive loss for the club. But I've often wondered whether if the club were a little bit smarter, would they have let Mason Linnell go 3 weeks before that? Because Mason had played a bit of first grade at the club and was kind of on the fringe of being in that squad. And then they allowed him to sign at Newcastle. And then 3 weeks later, Sean Johnson's gone. And all of a sudden, we don't have a qualified half, an established halfback anymore. So, but like I said, I don't expect you to comment on that, bro. It's, it's one of those things that just happened. At the end of the 2019 season, you had surgery on an ankle syndesmosis injury, which kept you off the training park for a little bit of time. Mentally, how hard is it to go through a pre-season injured when all the other boys are kind of back training?
Yeah, that was a hard one to take because after the season, or like that end of the season, I was just playing because we were in finals contention.
Yep.
And bro, my ankle was fucked. Like I was getting shot up before warm up, then I'll play first half, come back in, shoot it again, and I was just it was fucked. Anyway, after the season, had an MRI, and our old doctor he said, "Oh no, you don't need surgery. It's all good." I was like, "Oh okay, doesn't feel right." But anyway, I should have got a second opinion, but that's my bad. I learned from that. Anyway, fast forward, like went to Bali, had my off season, come back to preseason, and I'm running, and it's still like painful. And then we got a new doctor for this year, and she sent me and my MRI results, the same one, to an orthopedic surgeon, and he just took one look at it and was like, "Bro, your ankle's fucked. Like it's butchered. You're gonna need surgery." And I was like, "Oh fuck, how long will that be out?" And he was like, 8 to 12 weeks. And I was like, fuck, like that's my whole I could have got that done like 8 weeks ago, and I would be slowly coming back right. And then so I had that was very hard to take because it was my first major injury, and I knew I was going to miss half the season. And then when I got my ankle right, I was ready to train again. I did my knee in wrestling in Tamworth. And so it was like another 6 weeks, like 4 to 6 weeks. I blew like it's called a lateral ligament. It's like the one on the outside. Can't remember. LCL. It's not that important, but that was another 4 to 6 weeks. And when I finally got back from there, I tore my calf, and it was all on one leg. So I was thinking like, fuck, I must be what is it? When you rely on one leg too much?
Yeah, overcompensating.
Yeah, overcompensating, and my left leg wasn't fully strength, back to its full strength. So that was so frustrating, especially when the boys were losing, and then when Mox got sacked, and I was just like, fuck, I was just boiling, like ready to get back out there with the boys. But yeah, got through it, and yeah, hopefully I don't have to go through anything like that again.
Yeah.
Well, the 2020 season started under very difficult circumstances, obviously, with the playing group finding out immediately after the round one loss at Newcastle that they wouldn't be flying home because of COVID and everything like that. And at the time, they'd only packed, just an overnight bag kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what was the feeling like back in NZ? And did you have regular contact with the group during those first 2 rounds?
Yep. So when we were catching up, we were doing like a team Zoom. Like the team was in the room, and then we'll be on the projector, obviously, and where they were. And we had a team discussion, and it was like, because it was uncertain of when they could return, they said they'll hang it out for another week or two. And if they have to stay any longer than that, then they'll, probably come home. And then it was just by coincidence that they only played one game, and then they got, they suspended the season. So, I was really keen. When we flew to us injured boys, we flew over and we stayed in the camp. I can't remember where we stayed, but we were keen as to get over and, reinforce the boys. But yeah, they suspended the season after a week, and then we all flew home.
Yeah, I was in Newcastle for that round one game. In fact, your good mate Josh Gage he was invited to talk to the boys at the hotel before the game about his heart surgery. Cam George had kept in contact with him throughout the off season. So that was kind of a big thrill for me, because we kind of got to be in that inner sanctum with all the boys before that Newcastle game. And then after that game, the crowds were banned from live games in round 2, and then the comp was suspended indefinitely, as you said. What happened once the squad went back home to New Zealand? Because New Zealand went into full lockdown. You did it a lot tougher than we did it here in Australia. We had certain restrictions and various isolation protocols, but you guys went into full lockdown.
Yeah, so we were in full lockdown for 6 weeks, I think it was. And that was weird, because we didn't know what was happening. It was like the world's coming to an end. But me, Roger, and Ellie, because we all live close to each other, we were just slowly texting each other, and we'll meet at a school. In the school, like, you can park your car and then walk around, and it's just like a field covered by bush. So we were still training. Us three were still training right through the 6 weeks. We're just keeping it on the low. But yeah, it was a weird time, man. And I'm very, very grateful that we got the season back up and running. Because a year of footy, fuck, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, I don't know what we would have done, and we don't play.
Yeah, were you doing your own? You were doing training, as you said, with some of the guys, and were you just continually having the regular Zoom meetings with the coaching staff and everything, and how did that affect your injury rehab as well?
Yeah, so it slowed everything down, bro. But we got given like bikes and that to use at home, weights and that. But we were doing Zoom calls like every day. Like our leadership group, we were on the phone constantly, and it was just the same. Like, oh, we're still waiting for answers, blah blah blah. And then finally they said May 28th, but there was still a lot of uncertainty of a lot of things that we needed to get sorted out, like our pay cut. Will our families be allowed over? And they promised us. They said, when you guys fly over in May, we'll have your families there by May 28th. And so we're like, okay, sweet. We went over, and then they said, oh, going home, because they promised, but then NRL obviously didn't fulfill theirs, and that's why they went home.
You froze for a minute there. Can you go back and tell us what happened? Sorry, bro. When they told you that the families were going to come at May 28th, what happened?
Yeah, so can you hear me?
Yeah, bro.
Oh. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we got you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so they promised the boys that their families would be over by May 28th. That was the start of the season. We went over, and then come like a week from kickoff, they said, oh, fuck, we can't get your families over. It's up to the government. And they're saying no. And so the boys that had the families that weren't over there, they were like freaking out, like going, no, fuck, no, we're going to go home. And because they fulfilled their promise, they showed up, but then NRL couldn't, get the families over. So, that was because you could see it, like a lot of boys were down, like Fossey was down because his missus was pregnant and she was going through a pregnancy all by herself. So that's why he needed to go home. Kenneth's had a newborn. Iggy's got 4 sons. The oldest is like 10 years old or something. So, and his wife was by herself. So, we just had to get those boys home. But once they left, it was like a big weight off our shoulders, and we started playing some good footy.
Yeah. I was going to say, so the comp gets a green light to restart, and you guys fly to Tamworth for that initial 14-day isolation. The
Yeah.
the town of Tamworth really like accepted the boys in, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they got right behind us, and they started calling us Tamworth Warriors.
Yeah.
The people at the hotel looked after us really well. Our chef Paul, he was top man, mean cook. He's cooking the meanest feeds for us. We really enjoyed our time there, but we couldn't get out to the town and spend some time with the people. But
No.
when we turned up to play the Knights, it was packed.
Yeah, it was.
So after the 14-day isolation period in Tamworth, the team shifted to Terrigal and set up base to play home games out of Central Coast Stadium there. So how difficult was it in those early weeks to be away from home?
It was hard because we had no freedom. We couldn't do anything, and we were in a mean spot. It was a 5-star apartment or whatever it is, and we had everything there, but we still couldn't go out for a walk or go get a coffee or anything. And the boys were doing it really tough because it felt like we were caged animals, and it felt like we were just performing, when the NRL wanted us to, which was like game day.
Yeah.
And then so we had a meeting with Andrew Abdo, and we explained to him how we're feeling in that. And he gave us a different set of rules to everyone else because we had come from New Zealand and that. So we were allowed to do most things. We're allowed to go to cafes if we social distanced. We're allowed to go to restaurants and have feeds and that. We just had to kind of keep it on the low, no social media, because the other players, they had tougher rules than us.
Yeah, I was going to ask about life inside that COVID bubble because most of us were just going about our normal lives and that. But I've lost my train of thought. Jump in, Rob. I don't know what I was going to ask you.
Well, the first couple of weeks that we were there, it was hard, and we couldn't do anything. Like, we just had to stay in our rooms. We weren't even allowed to go in each other's rooms. Like, that's how messed up it was. But and we linked up with the local pound, and we started walking dogs. That was to get out.
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so we started walking dogs like 2 times a week just to get out of the apartment.
There was a video that the Warriors shared of you guys. Whenever you had to do a gym session, you had to basically set up like hurricane fencing so that people couldn't get near you and stuff like that. Like it was quite a weird situation. Your ball sessions, were they done at Central Coast Stadium or were they done in Terrigal somewhere?
So we trained at 2 places because it's a soccer team that owns that Central Coast Stadium, I think. When they were training there, we would go train at a field in Tuggerah, it was called, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, the gym sessions are weird because, the fences were up, but it was stupid because if someone just come up to the fence, the air's going through the fence and like, fuck it, it's pointless. That was good because gave the boys a bit of eye candy to have a look at when we're doing our weights. But yeah, it was all good.
Did you have your own rooms, or were you in shared accommodation? Or
we were in apartment blocks, and there were like 3 rooms in a apartment.
Yep.
So my roomies was Roger and Nathaniel.
Yep.
Yeah, those are my roomies. So yeah.
As a squad, you spend a bit of time together, probably more than other squads because of the travel that the Warriors normally do. But it still must have been different living with the squad 24/7.
Yeah, it was different, and I think it benefited us. Like we really benefited from that because we got a lot tighter as a crew.
Yeah.
People formed bonds with players that they wouldn't normally not hang out with, like the Māoris and then the Aussies.
Yeah.
And the young fellas were coming out of their shell, and you got young fellas like Paulie, taking the piss out of Roger, who would, like, fast forward like a year ago, he would be too scared to even talk to Roger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was real good, and we got real tight as a crew, even with the staff and that, all the staff. So yeah, those 6 months over there was something we can look back on now and be proud of. What we've done, relationships we formed with each other.
When the season restarted, May 28th sort of time. So we sort of had a bit of up and down form. So we had a win against the Dragons, 18-0, and lost to Penrith and then 37-26 win against the Cowboys. But our next game was a big loss to South Sydney, 40 points to 12. And after that game, Stephen Kearney was sacked.
Yeah.
So as fans, we were pretty blindsided by the decision, and it was it a massive shock to you guys too?
Imagine how we're feeling if you guys are fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're going through all this shit, and then they decide to sack the coach, and we're thinking, what the fuck? Like, why would you sack the coach right now when we're in the middle of all of this? You know, and he's the one that's keeping us all together.
Yep.
And I didn't agree on it at all, the move they made, but you know, Mark had a plan, and so we had to, you know, get over it and get behind him and get behind Toddy. But yeah, that was tough. That was like almost the last straw. We were almost like, you know, thinking, fuck, nah, let's go home.
Yeah, it would have been tough. Because Todd's given that interim coach's job. His first assignment is against Melbourne, a game which was probably our worst performance of the season.
Yeah.
And his first press conference, he was no nonsense. He was direct. And he maintained that hard-nosed approach all through the season, pretty much. And the squad really seemed to buy into his philosophy and his attitude.
Yeah, bro. The thing about Toddy is, bro, he's honest, and it doesn't care who you are. He'll just tell you straight up. Like, you know, if you played shit, you played shit. And he was very tough on us, but he was fair, and he let us enjoy ourselves because we were doing it so tough over there. He said, you know what, you can enjoy yourselves, but when you turn up to work, you work. You don't fluff around. And so, you know, the boys he trusted the boys, and we got his respect. We respected him, and you know, it was you know, good back end of the season.
Yeah, we followed up that big loss with a win against Brisbane, and then 2 losses against Gold Coast and the Sharks. And after the Sharks game, Ken, Bush, Parsi, and King all returned to NZ. So, like, not to put you on the spot or anything, but that decision, the effects that kind of had on the squad, particularly because that sort of came out a bit flat after that round.
Yeah. When they went home, it was like a big weight of it, like I spoke before, a big weight off our shoulders, because, you know, what they were going through, we were feeling it because we could, you know, get their energy in that, sense the energy in that. So yeah, when they left, there was like a big weight off our shoulders, and you know, we didn't hold any hard feelings against them because, you know, family first. So we were happy for them to go home. But yeah, once they left, and we sort of just said, you know what, we've only got this amount of games left. Like, it's only us versus everyone else. No one gives a fuck. Like, they're saying thank you for carrying on the season, but we were tired of that sympathetic, you know, and it was like an excuse for us. Like, we're over here. So we were tired of that, and we just said, you know what, boys, fuck it. We'll knuckle down and have a crack, and let's not fucking roll over and let these cunts run all over us.
And knuckle down you did. Round 9, every Warriors fan's dream comes true, and Jazz makes his return to the field in a game that us as fans consider probably to be the turning point of our season. I know we didn't get the win against the Roosters, but the team looked committed. Defensively, we were really resilient. The team displayed like a real mental toughness that we weren't used to seeing as Warriors fans. And the team fought for the entire 80 minutes, and this continued pretty much for the remainder of the season. Even the games we lost, like against Parramatta, the Canberra game late in the season, we were in the fight right until the 80th minute. What changed? Is it, like, as you said, is it that discussion that you guys had amongst yourselves, and the closeness that you'd got in the COVID bubble, where it was just like, we're here, we might as well make the most of it?
Yeah, there's a few things that played a part, but I think me and Jack sort of made like a little pact to each other. We're like, you know, every team has these like enforcers. They have big dudes, like Roosters got Jared, Melbourne got Nelson and Jesse. You know, everyone has these enforcers, and we were looking around for our enforcer, and we didn't have one. So we were like, oh, yeah, me and you, bro, we'll do it. So any team we come up against, like the first game we started together was against the Roosters. And so, like, you know, we'll like, Jared's our man, we'll go after him. And then I remember I stripped the ball out of Siwa, I think, and then he hid me. And then fuck, I just got on top of him straight away and I just started kicking him. Fuck you. And then after that, him and Jack stood up and Jack started calling him out. And then they started going at it. And I was just like, yeah, this is mean. And the boys were just feeding off it. Like, we're not standing down to any cunt. Doesn't matter how big or who you are. So that was mean. That's when I reckon it turned around for us when we started.
Yeah, that game, I remember one of the best visions of that game was when Jack was giving it to Jared. And then at the end of the game, Jack went up to Jared to like kind of put his arm around him and Jared was brushing him off. Like Jared was, he was really pissed. He knew that someone had got the better of him that day.
Yeah, well, see, I don't agree with how Jared handled that.
No.
He's a leader in our game, and especially for our people. And I'm a believer of what happens on the field stays on the field. Just leave it there.
Yep.
And Jack went up to Jared and he said to him, "Bro, I looked up to you when I was a little kid. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, we'll leave it on the field." And then Jared goes, "Nah, fuck off, me and you got beef." And I was like, "Bro, he's saying sorry." Like, so I don't know. Like, yeah, Jared, yeah, Jack got under Jared's skin. I'll say that.
Sure did. Yeah. Well, we spoke about the bubble earlier and everything, but as the season went on, did it get harder? Like the longer it went on to be in the bubble?
I won't say harder. Like, I think when the boys left, like that was it. That was we were just like, boys, we've been through so much shit. Like, doesn't matter what happens now. We've been through worse. So, it wasn't harder. It was just like we could see the end of the season, and it was close. And we're like, boys, we'll just get through it, one game at a time. And so I wouldn't say it got harder. Yeah.
We as Aussie-based fans, we don't get to see you play as often as we'd like to. And we're always the away fans, we're always outnumbered. But from a selfish perspective, COVID was great for us because we got to experience a little taste of what it's like to be a home fan. Did it lift the team knowing there was a loyal group of fans that were continually coming along to every game in Sydney and the Central Coast to cheer you guys on?
Yeah, bro, of course, because, hearing, fans cheering for you, it just gives you energy straight away. And then, you guys are turning up, even though at the start of seeing like we're getting smoked. But yeah, it was good to, feel some, love from our fans and our people. So it definitely, kept us going and gave us some energy.
Yeah, the round 18 loss to the Sharks effectively ended our semi-final dream.
Yeah.
So how hard were those last few rounds, knowing that unfortunately there wouldn't be any semi-final fairy tale, but you still couldn't go home for another couple of weeks, so you had to sort of see out the season. So how did you guys sort of handle that?
Yeah, that was tough, and it was hard to get up for the last 2 weeks. But then we had every reason in the last game because it was Blair's last game. He announced his retirement, and then it was Tommy's debut for the Raiders game. Sorry, it was Tommy's debut. That gave us a reason to get up for him because everyone remembers their debut, and we wanted to make sure we had a crack for him. And then the last game was I think it was Tory's 50th game for the Warriors, and then obviously Blair's last game. So we had to make sure we got the win for him and respect him. But yeah, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. The coaches try to make training fun. We were playing like soccer and gridiron. We didn't do any like gameplay or anything. But yeah.
I was fortunate enough to be at that final game of the season against Manly. As you know, we had a photo. The team really put on a show for the home fans that day, and it ended up being pretty emotional charged day. You had Andrew Abdo, being there to acknowledge the sacrifices of the squad. They played that little video package of rival captains and players thanking the team for being there. The video package farewelling the departed players, but the haka for Adam Blair was a real highlight for me. Again, is that something that is planned, or is that just someone says, "Hey boys, let's do a haka," and away it goes?
I think you just you know, bro. It's just a Kiwi thing. Like, you thought for anything special, like a birthday or someone gets an award or whatever. And it was just like I think we finished and it was like, boys, come a tip for Larry. I'm like, oh yeah, sweet. Like it's just a normal thing. Like everyone will just go, yeah, sweet, bro, we won. And like when Mooks left, that was probably the most emotional haka that I've been a part of. Like
Oh.
because when he got up and said goodbye, it was hard. All the boys were like in tears and that. And then when we did a haka for him, it was like one of the most emotional hakas that I've been a part of. It was special. Yeah.
The day after that Manly game is pretty much the day that the team broke camp. The Kiwi boys all went home, and the Aussie boys pretty much stayed here. Yeah. Describe those feelings after you've been living with these guys for 6 months, and then it's kind of bye-bye. And some of those guys you're not going to play with next year. Adam Kieran's moved on, Lockie Burr's moved on, Paddy Herbert's moved on. Describe those kind of feelings. That must have been really hard.
It was weird because we were all wasted. We left early in the morning, and I don't think I'd been asleep yet. And I was just like, "See you later, boys. Like, love yous and that." But I wish that we stayed, because I know we've been over there for ages. I wish we stayed for like another 2 days or something. Left on the Wednesday, so we could actually have a drink and actually say proper goodbyes. Because the night was actually good though. We had like a little muck around awards night. Gave out some funny awards. And then we all had a drink together. But yeah, it was sad. Now looking back, we didn't get to say goodbye properly.
Yeah.
Because we were still wasted. But yeah, I'm gonna miss some of the bros.
With no international footy for either the Kiwis or Samoa this year, you get to have a proper off season. What date does the squad get back together? And we've heard rumblings that there's going to be a split pre-season with Aussie boys here and Kiwi boys back home.
Yeah, that's true, bro. So they wanted the boys to be with their families for Christmas. Because after the year that it's been crazy, and only be fair to spend Chrissy with the family. So the Aussie boys are going to stay in Aussie, and I think they're going to do like a little camp. I think they start in 2 weeks. They're going to start training. Our young boys start Monday, actually.
Okay.
And then we all got different, depending on how long you've played, you all got different dates. Like Ken and Foss and that, they start not next week, the week after. But like me and a couple of other boys aren't due back till December the 7th.
Okay.
And then you got like Roger, he's not due back till January. So everyone varies. It depends on how, seniority and how long you've played for, etc. But yeah, we're doing the split. So the Aussie boys stay in Aussie, we stay here. After Chrissy, they still haven't confirmed yet. But if the Aussie boys don't have to quarantine, they'll come home.
Yep.
And we'll train like normal, and then we'll fly to Oz. Otherwise, if they do, then it looks like we'll fly over there. And they haven't made up their mind yet. They've still got Redcliffe, and they've got Terrigal, back to Terrigal.
Where would you prefer?
Well, we're all the boys saying Terrigal because
good.
Come on.
Rob's upset. Rob lives in Queensland. He's hoping for Redcliffe, but as a Sydney sider, mate, I'm hoping for Terrigal again. It'll be.
No, yeah.
So is that confirmed? Is that confirmed that you'll probably have to be based out of here for the season next year?
So the way they've said it is we're gonna put it into three month blocks.
Yep.
So it's obviously January to March, and then if the bubble hasn't opened up, then we'll stay for another block of 3 months. And then obviously if the bubble hasn't opened up, then we'll stay for the last three month block. But yeah, it's all depending on the border. Like if it opens up, then we'll just.
But your families will be here with you from the outset.
Yeah. So that's one thing we're going to make sure is that our families can come over. Like no one's going to go over unless. So I think we're going to start doing exemptions and stuff like soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2020 was a strange season all around, obviously, and so. Like a few changes on the field. We returned to one referee, had some rule tweaks like the 6 again rule. And for the first time, there were loan players that were available to teams. So what did you think of the 4 loan players that came to our team? What were your thoughts on those guys?
Well, I thought all the loan players really stood up and gave us a bit of life, bit of energy, like Puasa. He was mean. The way he carried the ball in that for us, it just reminded me of Punty. They sort of place, but Puasa was big, bro. George Jennings and Jacko and Dan, bro, those like Jacko and Dan, they're all freaks. Well, they're all playing for contacts as well. So it was evident in how hard they were playing in that. I thought it was good for them to, play some footy, because they weren't gonna, get a run in their team back home. So I take my hats off to all four of them, because each one of them had a crack.
Yeah, George Jennings looked happy to be in a Warriors jersey. We actually thought that he might get offered a contract. He's gone and signed at Melbourne.
Bro, so you got real tight with all the Māori boys, and you was calling for Māori after. But yeah, it was mean. We got real close with Jacko and Jinx and Dan, because they spent, a long time.
Yeah, they showed an interview that they did when they first got into camp. They had to do a barbecue for you boys or something when they first got into camp. Yeah.
That was Dan's actually a really good cook, not George. He fucking did nothing. He buttered the bread.
Yeah. All those guys are really going to be fondly remembered, and all Warriors fans will always remember them as Warriors players. So to us it was fantastic, and as you said, it clearly gave the team a big boost. So I thought it was a fantastic initiative.
Yeah.
What Rob touched on that 6 again rule that they brought in this year. Are you a fan or you're not a fan?
Oh, mixed feelings, bro. When we're on attack, I'm loving it, but when we're on defense, I'm thinking, fuck me, this is stupid.
We don't get many though, do we?
Nah, but bro, when you're on defense, and you get a couple of 6 against, bro, it's fucking hard. It makes the game so hard. And that's why I think the game there's so much points scored this year. It was because of the 6 again rule. There was a lot more fatigue. It was way faster. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really mind. I'm happy there's only one ref though. Because you can get away with a lot more stuff.
Yeah, that's unlike you, mate. You don't try to get away with stuff, do you?
No.
It's not in your game, Jazz.
Obviously, the NRL is a business these days, and player movements are inevitable. How hard is it to see like good mates such as Sean Johnson, Sam Lasone move on to other clubs?
Yeah, it is hard, bro. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and we all understand that. We'll just be brothers, forever. Sean's a good mate. He's coming home soon, I think. So hopefully catch up with him. Sammy's not coming over because he doesn't want to do the quarantine, because you got to do quarantine 2 weeks Queensland, 2 weeks NZ. So I won't see him for a while. But it's always sad when you lose a mate like Nathaniel. I think he's in talks with Para or something. So we'll see what happens there. But if I lose him too, I'm gonna be like, fuck, losing mates.
Don't want to give you bad news. Don't want to give you bad news, bro. But he's already signed.
Yeah. No, I already know. I just don't want to spill it on.
Are you excited? Are you excited about the new signings the club's made? The new guys coming to the club?
I can't wait to play with our three big boys, 3 big boppers.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot different to the way we've been playing the last couple of years, but finally we've got some big motherfuckers.
So where is BMM, Ben Murdoch-Masila? Is he going to be pre-season training Australia or New Zealand? And AFB, because part of his deal was he wanted to get out of Sydney. Is he going back to do pre-season in New Zealand, or will he do it here in Australia?
I think he's doing it in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about Big Benny, but keen as to play, behind him. I don't have the tough guy anymore. I can just let them do it, and I got your back, bro.
But we love that about you. That was one of the things that we loved this season, was the 2 blokes that we as fans could really rely on to get in and do all that dirty work and really head our defensive effort, was both yourself and Carl Lawton. Carl's not a big guy either, but he really made took the opportunity of starting at hooker with both hands this season. He made a fist of it, and he made that position his own. Yeah, I
was really happy with the way Carl went this year. He was solid, man, and it's going to be interesting to see who gets the 9 this year. I think he's done enough to earn it, but we'll see what Brownie wants. But no, it's just like I was saying, how me and Jack sort of made a pact. Was like, bro, that's us.
Yep.
All these other cunts. Sorry, I keep saying word. That's a bad word. Hope my mum's not watching.
We'll send it to her.
I've got some random quickfire questions for you, Jazz. So we'll get stuck into a few of these. Who's your toughest teammate?
Toughest teammate. Oh, there's not many of them. I'll probably say Tohu. He's tough on the field, but in training and that, fuck, he is the laziest. He hates gym. He hates weights. Like, honestly, we're doing gym and we'll look up and there's like the balcony and he's just sitting there like watching us just doing. And they don't say anything because of what he does on the field. So he's just like doing a couple of bicep kills and all the boys down there, like getting flogged. Fucking you just look up at him and he's no, I'll let the ball rubber. That's what happens.
Oh.
Who's the best sledger? Maybe in the Warriors team and also in the opposition.
It's probably me in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, that's an obvious one. But the sledging against Michael Ennis was bad. I played him.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine.
Everyone, no, I'm not hating, but hating playing against him because Blairy's bad. Blairy's bad.
Yeah.
Blairy, fucking, he'll get under anyone's skin. He doesn't care because they know they're not going to do anything. So he gives it to them. Yeah, Blairy. I'll say Blairy.
Okay. Who's the biggest pest?
Yeah, that's me. That's an easy one.
I thought you'd say bully.
Bully, yeah, bully. But in the team it would be me. But yeah, bully is a big pest. Oh, he's annoying, that fella.
Yeah.
He's got this thing with his teeth, like if you're having a coffee or a drink or whatever, if you were out in town and there's drinks on the thing, he'll pull out his teeth and just dunk his teeth in everything. Bro, that's what he does, bro. And we're just like, well, we're obviously gonna drink it, so we're just drinking his dirtiest teeth.
Get the old dentures. Does the old denture done?
Yeah. What are they called? You can pull them out and shit.
Yeah, the falsies.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing beats or something, he'll come take them out and put it near your face.
Oh, mate.
Fair enough, bully. Come on, mate. All right. What about toughest opponent?
Sam Burgess, bro, hands down. I remember the first time I hit him. He got me. He was running. I was facing this way, and he was running to my right, and then he gave me a left foot, and he just squared me up, just steamrolled me, carried on running, and I was just like, fuck. But yeah, and then I seen him 2019 last year. Fuss, I've never seen anyone smash Fuss, and he smashed Fuss. Like, took him out when we played Rabbits in Sunshine Coast. And I was like, fuck, yeah, he's a tough guy.
Oh, mate, he ran over the top of Sonny Bill as well. So, it's all right. You're in good company.
Yeah. I'm just going to scroll through the live comments. We've got heaps of comments. Got heaps of people watching too. Wow.
Thanks for watching.
But Georgia Hale's watching. Just want to say a shout out to Georgia Hale for congratulations on winning the Veronica White medal. That was a massive thing for Georgia.
Well, not many of you know. I don't know if you know. Georgia actually dates Sam Lasoni. So she's over there now. I think she gets out of Iceland.
Really?
Interesting.
So I got to know Georgia quite well in this campaign. And went down, saw them at their base a couple of times. Yeah. And she did mention that her partner had moved to Australia and was living on the Gold Coast. But she didn't say who her partner was.
Yeah, Sam Lasoni.
Okay. Because I've got another mate who's the CEO of the North Sydney Bears here in Sydney, and I was trying to, if Georgia stays in Sydney, I was trying to push her to go and play at the North Sydney Bears in the women's comp, but looks like she's going to be based on the Gold Coast next year.
She's going to Broncos, bro.
Well, no, she won't play for the Broncos, bro. She'll be a Warriors.
No, it's Broncos.
Yeah. So some of the live questions. Who were your heroes growing up?
Stacey Jones, Sonny Bill. I remember watching the Warriors when I was a young fella. Stacey was the man. My dad loved Stacey too. And yes, Sonny Bill.
What's it like then? What's it like when you come into the Warriors, Fano, and Stacey Jones is one of the coaches there? Like, what's that like for a young kid? So, working with one of your idols.
Yeah, I still buzz out every day. Like we got real close. Me and Stace being over when we were over in Aussie. But he's the one that let me have a preseason because I went to an open trial. He was the coach for the 20s, and he gave me a shot. And when we won it, we shared a moment after our Mad Monday. And he's just saying how proud he is of me and that. And he never thought I'd get to where I was then. And even now when we catch up for a beer, he just buzzes out at how far I've come in that. So yeah, no, he's good. He's a good mate of mine, and he's good to have in my corner. Good mentor for me as well.
Yep. If you weren't an NRL player, what career do you think you'd be in?
Probably be in jail. No. I'll probably be, and I probably would have followed my father's footsteps.
I could.
If I'm almost to build, so probably would have followed them as well.
I could see you as an MMA fighter, bro.
Bro, that
you
too.
You got the mongrel for it. You do. You got the mongrel for it.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll do.
Biggest influence on your career?
Bro, there's been a few special people in my life. Spencer and Carmen Taplin, they played a big role. All my mates' parents growing up, because when Dad was always away, they'll be taking me to league training and stuff. But my probably biggest one would be my father. He was really hard on me, and when we were watching my games, bro, when I was young, Papakura, we always got smoked. Like we were getting smoked by Mangere and all that. And every halftime, bro, I would just remember him. He'll come up to the halftime huddle, pull my ear, drag me out of the huddle while the coach is talking, and just like spray me in front of everyone. He's like, "Acting like a little fucking girl." Or he'll be like that. And I'll go back, and all my mates are like, "Oh, bro, you're right."
Oh.
Yeah, probably my dad, bro. He always keeps me honest. And bro, even now, like when we lose, I don't want to talk to anyone. I just want to watch the game by myself. And but every game, like even when we lose, I'll be in my room and I'll hear him watching the replay, and then he'll just and he'll be like, "Jazz, come in here." And then like if I miss it or something, he'll just play it, rewind it, play it, and he'll be like, "So what were you thinking here?" And I'll just be like, "Bro, shut up."
Time to move out, Jazz. Time to move out, bro.
Yeah.
Do you follow American sports? And if so, do you have a team that you support?
I follow obviously UFC and NBA. I'll say I follow. I don't have a current team, but I was backing the Mavericks this year. Big Doncic fan. And then when they got knocked out, I was backing the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, my guy.
And last question from the fans is, are you a gamer? And if so, what game are you playing at the moment?
In ISO, I was a bit of a gamer. I was playing Call of Duty, Warzone. All my mates play that, but they're pretty terrible, pretty shit. But bro, Paddy Herbert is a freak gamer. Like he is freak on Fortnite and COD. He's got all the gadgets and shit. But yeah, he's
really
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And I think that's someone's written, do you watch Origin, and if so, what team do you support and why? Can I tell them what you said to me last night when I asked you about Origin, bro?
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
So I sent Jazz a message last night. Are you watching the Origin? Who are you going for? He goes, no, I don't hate that. I don't watch that, and I hope they bash each other up or something to that. I hope they hurt each other.
When I was growing up, I used to support the Blues because my dad was a big fan of Andrew Johns. And then when I got to a certain, I think when it was like my first 20s year, I just couldn't care less. Yeah, and then now, when Origin's usually on during the season, I'm like fucking under each other. But yeah, I couldn't care less, to be honest. It is. Good.
Roger posted last night on Instagram. He said, "Who should I support in the Origin tonight?" And I just commented, "Hey Skip, Terrigal and Tamworth are in New South Wales, so perhaps you should go for the Blues." So he did, and Rob over there got upset.
Corrupting him, that's
Yeah. Oh, you got to stay true, I guess. But no.
Yeah.
Bro, so funny that because I saw his photo. He was on the couch with his daughter, and we had a we had a awards night last night. Bro, and there was only 3 players there. It was me, Ali, Chanel, and Blair. And I was like texting him, where the fuck are you? And he goes, oh, bro, I'm in Papua with my family. I was like, you're good, mate.
I didn't realise it was a event that you could go to. I just thought that that was going to be live streamed to you guys.
No, it wasn't compulsory. You know, they gave us the option because it's our holiday and that. But come on, mate, you're the captain. I thought you'd be there. So.
Oh, mate, now we're getting some questions come through. Who's the quickest in the team?
Bro, Ken.
Ken.
Okay.
Would you switch to Union if it guaranteed you a spot in the All Blacks?
No, I wouldn't fit any position in rugby.
If you could, these ones are a bit controversial. You don't have to answer it. You can say, you can plead the fifth on these. Would you rather have Peyton or Mooks as a coach?
Pass.
Yeah, okay, good man. And if you could have any coach the Warriors, who would it be? You can pass on that too, bro.
Nathan Brown. I'll just say that.
Good answer.
You're watching,
Good answer.
Oh, that's funny. I think that's it. People are just saying, there's a lot of comments coming through. Thank you for the sacrifice this year. Please come back to the Central Coast. I enjoyed watching you play this year. My favourite game for you this year would have been versus the Eels at the Central Coast. Just a lot of love, brother, for from the people watching on. It's you are one of the fan favourites. We refer to you as the junkyard dog. You're like our clean up and tidy up man. You know, that mongrel that's just not afraid to get in there and mix it with the big boys.
Brother.
Yeah, look, we know it's quite late over there in NZ, so we don't want to keep you any longer than we have to. We just want to say a massive thanks for coming on and chatting with us tonight. We really appreciate it.
Too easy, bro. I'm happy to be on. Thanks for having me. Hopefully see you fellas next year, right?
Yeah, bro. Well, I was just going to say, like, hopefully we can get you back on to give us some updates in the preseason.
Yeah,
if you can do that.
Give me a buzz in preseason. We'll set it up, and I'll let you know how there's a tracking. It should be fun. Sweet, bro.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, brother. If we don't see you beforehand, we don't speak to you beforehand. Have a good preseason before Chrissy. Have a great Chrissy, and we'll see you in the new year.
You too, fellas. Cheers, bro. Thank you.
Right.
Sure. Thanks, Jazz.
Cheers,
thanks, Jazz. Cheers, mate. Wow. Awesome.
Does like to swear.
Yeah. The air turned a little bit blue, didn't it?
Yeah.
But
lucky we.
Yeah, awesome insight. Like, fantastic to get that insight again. You know, like, obviously we had Tukes last year who gave us a bit of insight from the past. Now we've got the present on this week, and it's just absolutely amazing.
It is. And it just keeps getting. You know, I mean, next week we've got Ruben Wiki coming on. Yep. That'll be a great chat. Another ex-player, but in the era post Mark Tukey.
Exactly. It just carries on from Tukes.
Yeah, another really successful area of the club, that 2005 to 2011 period, where we made the semis a couple of times, into the grand final in 2011, which he wasn't a part of, obviously. And then the week after that, we got Toddy Payton coming on to have a bit of a chat, which is going to be a really interesting one. Only really coached the side for 12 games, but did a massive job. New follower. Thanks, Nick. We will keep it up. Loving that people are, supporting the show and enjoying the content we're putting out there and getting and the players and ex-players that we're getting on to have a chat. We've been very lucky the last couple of weeks with the people that we've interviewed and the ones coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've still got some feelers out to get a few others on, if not the end of this year, definitely leading into pre-season next year.
Yeah, stay tuned in for all of that.
Yeah. So, mate, back to the Origin. Good win by your boys.
I'd love to talk Origin.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can spend 1 minute on it. Good win by your boys. I'll use the old cliche. It really was a game of two halves. The dominant team in the first half, and Queensland obviously coming home with a wet sail in the second. Although I will say there was a couple of instances in that first half where the game could have been put to bed either way. Like New South Wales score, they're up, by 16 or 18 points. But Queensland had a couple of opportunities early on New South Wales line that if they'd have converted those into points, could have, changed the whole landscape of the game, and it could have been a very big win for the Queenslanders. But
it could have been.
Congratulations.
Yeah, cheers. Well, I mean, it wasn't a great start for you blokes with dropping the ball from the kickoff. I mean, it's probably the worst possible start there that they had with.
Yes, I was looking for Martin Bella. I thought Martin Bella was out there playing.
No. Martin Bella was playing it the wrong way around, wasn't he? Oh no, the grand final. Yeah,
no, he dropped it. Yeah,
he kept it versus Canberra. Oh yeah, that was way to go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously some resilient defence there. Like I think the Queensland attack wasn't quite on song early on. We're threatening a little bit, but going a bit too sort of side to side and everything. But whatever, like when it got to 10-0, I just had the feeling that if New South Wales got one more try, then that, as you said, that would quite possibly have ended it there. If New South Wales went to the break up 16-0, I think that was essentially game over. That's the sort of the mental hurdle. 10-0, a big difference between 10-0 and 16-0, I suppose. But whatever Wayne Bennett said at halftime worked a treat. And I'll have to confess, I did bag Kurt Capewell at halftime. I think I sent you a message saying he's.
I have the messages, and I'm planning to send them to Kurt Capewell.
Turn it up.
But in that, after my response to your message was I bagged Xavier Coates, and then what happened? Yep. They both scored. So
they sure did. No, Kurt Capewell had a very good second half. Obviously, put in that kick for the Brimson try. Defensively, he was very strong as well. He ran out of the line and made a good hit on Tedesco or someone. Yeah, he rushed out of the line and put on a really strong tackle. And I think Queensland, like the experience showed in like the Queensland halves, and they sort of orchestrated that second half and guided us around the field and the forwards. Like as we were saying before we came on air, there wasn't a massive real standout in the Queensland team, but everyone did their job. Like every guy, even like Clayton Sewer came on at the end and made that good run and almost set up a try. Like we mentioned Capewell, DCE was officially man of the match, and he did have a very good game. Like controlled everything.
Brimson at the back was magnificent.
So Gagai again proves that he is the man to rise to the occasion in Origin. So he had another great game. And as I said, Brimson, unfortunately, as it came out in the news today, he's got an injury, so he won't be playing for the remainder of the season. The series, I should say.
Cam Murray's out for New South Wales, which I think an easy in there would be Nathan Brown coming in place of Cam Murray. I think he'll give a bit more mongrel in that pack. I'm worried about Boyd Cordner, another HIA. Someone's got to save that guy from himself. He's going to do him. He's going to do himself some serious damage. I thought Luke Keary, not real good. I thought both our halves were pretty ordinary, to be quite honest. It kind of showed playing the game this time of the year. It kind of showed the guys that were short of a run of footy in the last couple of weeks. Like a guy like Tyson Frizzell, I didn't even realise he was out there for most of that game.
Exactly.
Gutherson playing out of position in the centres. We had a chat before we went live. For me, that's people think that centre's not a specialist position, but defensively it is. It's that position where you're one in or one out from your edge back rower. You've got your winger outside you, and if you make a wrong choice, your winger has to follow in. I just thought defensively they were a bit off, those two guys. White much better suited playing 5'8", Gutherson much better suited at halfback, and when New South Wales have guys like Lomax and Stephen Crichton not getting a run, who are specialist centres, I would probably bring them in. But what do I know?
Yeah, you saw it like Gagai got on the outside a couple of times and drew in the winger against Gutherson.
Yes.
So obviously, I mean, as you said, not having played centre or playing fullback all year, like there's a lot of defensive decisions are crucial there. So he got the better of him there. I think just on the game, like there was a couple of injuries to the Blues. Well, I mean, Cordner did come back, but losing Cameron Murray as well.
Yeah,
he barely got out there and was injured, so that was quite crucial, I think, as well.
Yeah, it forced some guys to play longer minutes than they would have wanted. But in saying that, you got a guy like Payne Haas who plays 80 minutes every week for the Broncos, and he got 23 minutes last night.
Yeah, I barely remember him being out there as well.
Yeah. And they chose to play Angus Crichton in the middle for like 55 minutes. Like I don't know. It's like I said, I'm not a coach. I'm not a coach at that level. I have coached before. I do watch the game and I know a little bit about it. I just obviously there's guys running the show that have got better knowledge than me, but I just some of it just doesn't make sense. But they bought Wayne Bennett and Mal Meninga back for a reason, and they really Bennett just gets the best out of players. He really does.
And brains trust, mate. The Queensland through and through, and obviously Mal had that unreal coaching record with the Queenslanders, and they say legend has it that it was just him working on the players and their self-belief and everything, and that was Mal's kind of main contribution to the group and to the success. So, I must say,
game 2 next week.
Yeah, game 2 next week, exactly. I must say, when I posted that picture yesterday, I was a bit disappointed of all the New South Wales love there. And I was like, come on, guys, the Warriors have produced way more Queensland State of Origin reps than they have New South Wales. I'll just remind you of, one Kevin Campion and PJ Marsh both made their State of Origin debuts while playing for the Warriors. And also, obviously, Steve Price and Jacob Lillyman continued their State of Origin careers long into their stints at the Warriors as well.
Did Michael Luck play Origin?
He was 18th man in 2007, I believe. He came really close. I think it was 2007 he was called into the squad. And I think it's a bit of an injustice. Well, maybe not an injustice because he had Dallas Johnson ahead of him, and Dallas Johnson played a very similar role. Like he was the tackle bot, the cleanup guy, the 1% player. So it's probably just unfortunate for Lucky there, but he would not have been out of place in that Queensland team.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't have been. But the New South Wales love from the Warriors supporters comes from the fact that Terrigal and Tamworth are in New South Wales, and therefore the Warriors are a New South Wales side. So,
okay, we can say that. But if we happen to relocate to Redcliffe next year, then I'm hoping that a bit of that, if people have jumped on the hometown Warriors thing, I'm hoping that swings a little bit north of the border, mate.
Well, mate, I'm telling you now, I think if they go to Redcliffe next year, I think I'm going to relocate every weekend to Queensland, so I can be up there to watch the boys play. Don't forget Brent Tate. Someone wrote, yes.
Brent Tate. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Brent Tate had continued playing Origin, and he had during his stint. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sorry about that, Brent.
Okay, enough about Origin. The important Origin game's on next Friday. That's the big one. In my eyes anyway. That's when the women's Origin's on. Not that I'm not a fan of the men's Origin, but the Warriors have 4 players playing in that women's Origin game next week, all for Queensland. So as a staunch, proud New South Welshman, I will be wearing a Maroons shirt or jersey next Friday and cheering for our girls in the women's Origin. I'll be brushing New South Wales and I'll be going for Queensland.
Slowly but surely we're getting you. Slowly but surely.
We got Karina Brown, Tasman Gray, Shania Power, and Brianna Clark all in that squad. Hoping all 4 of them get picked in the game day squad. But if they don't, they're part of that squad, and that's very important. So I'll be on Queensland next Friday, but I'll be on New South Wales on Wednesday.
Righto. Well, I'll be there next Friday night, hoping to maybe catch up with the girls there.
You will be, yes.
Yeah.
I was planning to be there, but your Premier is not allowing us COVIDly infected New South Welshmen into your state. Everywhere else in New South Wales can go.
Everywhere except Sydney, right? Yeah.
Amazingly, everyone's got to come to Sydney to fly to Queensland, but yeah. So I won't be there. I'll be missing out on that one. But mate, you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, we'll do, definitely.
Yeah. Just on some Warriors news. As Jazz mentioned, the Warriors had their awards night last night. And thank you to TK for keeping me updated on the awards as they were going on last night, because they were streamed live on Sky Sport 4 in New Zealand. We didn't get to see it. So for those that don't know, the Rookie of the Year went to Jermaine Tanoa-Brown. The Clubman of the Year went to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. The Warriors Players Player went to Tohu Harris.
Yep.
The People's Choice Award went to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, and the Simon Mannering Medal went to Tohu Harris. So
well deserved.
very well deserved, yes. The only one that I thought that was a bit of a surprise was JTB getting the rookie. I thought Eli Katoa.
Yeah.
But maybe he missed a couple of weeks with injury, so maybe that was the deciding factor. Whereas I think JTB played 19 of the 20 games this year, missed one through suspension. So yeah, very consistent, mate. Very consistent. Also, too, we've got the Kiwi Ferns playing Whetu Samoa on Saturday in New Zealand. We've got a couple of Warriors girls running around for both teams. We've got Warriors from this year. We've got Crystal and Canyon playing Crystal Tamarua and Cameron Paul in the Kiwi Ferns. We've got 2019 Warriors representatives Jules Newman and Crystal Rorta, who has also been named as captain. And in the Samoan side, I think we've got Ashley Smalley and Angelina Luatawa. And there is one more, Vanessa Moala. Yeah, I think that's it. The three of them, Eloise Katoa's Rugby Myers or Rookie of the Year, yes. Yeah, so that's on Saturday. I don't know if we're going to get a telecast of that, but if we do, jump on, have a look, show the girls some support.
Give it a watch, yeah.
Have you got a prize pack there that we're going to give away tonight, mate?
Do. Let me just grab it. You're referring to this thing here?
I am referring to that. Kindly donated to us from TK in New Zealand, 2020 members prize pack that we're going to give away. And the rules of the competition were to like, share, comment on our Facebook and or Instagram pages, and tag at least one person to help us grow our social media presence online. And the random generator pick goes to Jay Harris.
Jay Harris, congratulations, mate.
So Jay Harris can get in touch with us via Messenger, send me a message or send Rob a message, or we can send you a message from the Facebook page or the Instagram, and we'll get your address and Rob will get that sent out to you ASAP.
This baby is all yours. A fantastic.
Yeah, so congratulations. Thanks for that, brother. Thanks for the support.
Thanks to
and what we've got, because...
Really appreciate that,
yeah, thank you, TK. Really appreciate it. So what we've got now as a quick giveaway is, because I can't go to the Women's State of Origin next Friday up at the Sunshine Coast, this is probably only a competition eligible for Queenslanders that follow us. I'm going to donate my tickets to one lucky person. So basically the same thing. I'll post a picture of the tickets up on Facebook and Instagram. Same thing, like, comment, share. tag one person, and we will draw that next Thursday night during the show, and someone will get two tickets, a double pass to go and watch the Women's State of Origin next week. So, yeah.
I'll see you there.
Yeah. Yes. Look for Warrior Roo. He'll be on the hill wearing a Queensland jersey and a Warriors hat, I'm told.
That's it. Yep. 2020 members hat.
Yeah. And then again, as I said, next week we've got Ruben Wiki on the show. That's going to be
really excited.
Interview. One of the greatest Kiwis ever to pull on a jersey. Canberra Raider, Warrior, obviously New Zealand Kiwi. And then the week after we got Todd Payton coming on the show. That'll be a great chat. Talking to Toddy, he can give us another perspective on how he found this season, and what it was like.
We really appreciate these guys giving us our time, and to you guys that are watching and listening as well, because it's a fantastic insight. And like Todd Payton, that will be just a fantastic chat to hear about what went on behind the scenes and how he got the boys up and motivated and everything. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what he's got to say about that.
Yeah, me too. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in tonight. We had quite a few viewers watching during when we had Jazz on. A couple of people saying hello and what have you. Sorry we didn't get to all your names. It's just we get so engrossed in the conversation with the guests that we have on that I kind of forget to look at the screen, the Facebook live screen sometimes. So I do apologise, but I appreciate it.
We really appreciate it.
Appreciate everyone commenting, watching, following, supporting. We'll keep putting the content out there if you guys want to keep watching us. As I said, we really appreciate it. It's just two guys having a bit of fun, really.
Yeah, just talking footy.
Just talking footy. So what do you got planned this week, mate?
Not too much at the moment. Probably just going to have a nice relaxing weekend ahead of getting ready to take a trip to the sunny coast the following week for the girls' game. But yeah, not too much on this week. Probably still a few storms around, which might put a dampen on a few things. But yeah, what about yourself?
Yeah, I don't know about the weather, mate. The weather's kind of I don't know what the weekend's going to be like. I would like to get out and do a bit of a walk or a hike or something like that. Myself and the great Juan Carlos, who is my housemate, we're having a chat about maybe going for a fish this weekend. Catch and release, of course. I'm I'm a man about the nature. But yeah, mate, all depends on the weather. I could just be sitting back having a few beers and watching Sky Sports Racing and having a punt. So we'll see. Just
while you mentioned nature, and just while I think of it, obviously, my dad and I like to go out bird watching just to some of the local areas, the forests and everything. And we were out on Tuesday morning, and we ran into a bloke who was also out there, and he was from the north of England, and turns out he was a massive Warriors fan, and he lived in New Zealand for 21 years and even coached Sean Johnson's brother. So you never know.
Really?
You never know when and where you're going to meet Warriors fans. So I told him about Roo Hammer. So Frank, if you're watching, shout out to you. And we were looking at a few sacred kingfishers and fairy wrens and this kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Where do you go bird watching at?
We usually go Mount Cotton. Anyone who's familiar with the Greater Brisbane area, there's some nice forest area out there. Also, the Gold Coast hinterland is a fantastic place for bird watching as well, up at O'Reilly's and Binnaburra, Lamington National Park area. So yeah, there's a lot of good national parks around the sort of Greater Brisbane and Gold Coast area. So yeah, it's been a hobby of mine since I was young. Something that my dad and I have bonded over is bird watching. So yeah, it's great.
Are you a binoculars kind of guy, or is it a photo?
Binoculars, yeah. I'm still a bit old school. We were saying to Frank when we ran into the other day that these days, like the real keen bird watchers, just have the cameras with the telescopic lens kind of thing, so you can get fantastic shots of birds that are actually miles away. And you can get some of those great photos that you see popping up on Facebook and that kind of thing, and nature enthusiasts. But yeah, no, I'm still binoculars man, mate. Still old school.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, kind of an early finish for us, but I mean, it's a long show, but
Yeah.
I mean, we went early because of Jazz. Next week, we're going to be even earlier to suit Ruben, and you know, we don't make any apologies for, you know, the variance in time, because, you know, we're doing it just to suit the guests that we're having on. We'll work in with them, whatever makes it easier for them. But yeah, we'll keep putting the feelers out there and try and get a couple more big stars over the next couple of weeks. We still have to do our end of season review. We've got to squeeze that into it. Yeah. So at this stage, that'll be the week after Toddy Payton. But again, that could change. We could forget about, you know, the season by the time we get through some of these games.
TBC, to be confirmed.
To be confirmed. Yeah. All right, buddy.
Cool,
you have a good Friday and a good weekend. No doubt I'll speak to you over the weekend.
You sure will.
Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate the support, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, guys. See you all later. Cheers.